This is the Conrad Alert. Civil defense information will be broadcast at 6:40.
West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello.
Y2K, how can we prepare?
Stop a few of their machines and radios. Throw them into darkness for a few hours.
We are fighting for our lives. My family must survive.
Over 5 years, 1,000 gallons of gas, air filtration, water filtration.
Coming at you from the frozen tundra that is East Central Alberta, Canada. Streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Telegram, Rumble, and Odyssey. Welcome back to the workshop where we create community, find freedom, promote preparedness, and share success. I'm Toolman Tim. Today is March the 10th, Mario Day 2023, and this is episode 270 of the Workshop Podcast. How is everyone out there? We are getting a little bit of snow this evening. I'm going to be joined here by my wonderful wife in just a moment. And what do we got for announcements for you? Real quick, number one, come and join us at the Telegram channel. If you didn't catch last night's episode, you missed out. It was an absolute firestorm. I had a lot of fun with it, but that was 100% inspired or brought about by the Telegram group. And if you normally watch over on Facebook, one of the streams didn't work tonight. Not sure why, but don't worry about it. Anyway, if you want to join the Telegram group, grab the link. It's in the description below. That is the place where all the cool kids hang out. No, not really. It's a place where we give each other a kick in the ass and say, hey, you can do better. Or I love that idea. Let's do better. Or let's figure it out. Or how can I help you? All of the above. Number two, Memorial Day weekend. I'm going to be in Addy, Washington at the Thrivalist Fair. It's Sunday and Monday. I'm going to be speaking 4 times over 2 days. And Sunday evening, we are going to have a workshop get together. We're going to do maybe a bourbon tasting around the open fire. It's going to be quite a bit of fun. Looking forward to, I know Tori's going to be there. I think Ryan, Prepper Dad's going to be there. And we'll see who else we can draw in from the extended workshop community because it'd be a lot of fun getting together. And finally, today's tool is the DeWalt gyroscopic powered screwdriver. I love that thing. $89 on Amazon. Seems like it's a little expensive for a powered screwdriver, but once you use it, it has worked a dream for me putting together all this shitty IKEA furniture that the wife keeps sticking me with. So I ended up picking it up. I love the thing. Again, it's $89, so you may or may not be in a person's price range for what you want, but if you're looking for a good powered screwdriver, that's the way to go. Link will be in the description. So with that, you guys know what you're here for. We're on the penultimate episode of The Last of Us, episode 8 of a total of 9 for season 1. So, Mrs. Cook, how the hell are you?
I'm good.
Haven't seen you in 5 seconds.
I'm gonna wear
You're going to put your sexy glasses on?
I'm going to wear these tonight because the computers are killing my eyes.
Gentlemen,
I've been on my computer all day.
Gentlemen, calm down. She's wearing her glasses. Yeah. Uh-oh, we're all in trouble now.
No, it's...
So,
my eyes have been bugging me all day.
So I'm going to ask you how your week was, like I don't live with you or something. How's your week been, darling?
It was good. Well, we had the 2 days off, so it's been a short week. But,
yeah.
And I finally saw the program approval
Proud of
done.
You.
So that was a 3-week process.
Nothing like paperwork in the government, right?
Yeah, and then I got a week left.
And then what?
And then we're going day 1.
Oh, yes. 16 days I get to be a bachelor with nothing but eight chihuahuas. So who do we get? Oh, we got a couple of new faces and names. Pledged Patriot, good evening. Great to have you. And Ice in Your Veins said, laughing my ass off, shitty IKEA furniture. Yes.
Unfortunately, with the daycare, we have to buy the shitty IKEA. Although,
yeah, it's not
that last dresser I bought.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Well, it should have for fucking $400.
It was $400, but it was real wood. And it is actually a really nice dresser.
I didn't realize IKEA made real wood furniture to be honest.
It's really, really super nice. It's heavy duty. And honestly, I would buy it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Again,
you know what would have been better? If it come fucking pre-assembled. But anyway, that's another story for
the only one that does that is the brick.
Yeah.
And that's incredible.
That shit gets beat up when it gets here quite often.
Yeah, so. Well, the one dresser was ruined, wasn't it? But I got my $50 credit.
Yeah. So Pledge Patriot says real wood for real. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing weighs, so it was a 6 or an 8 dresser.
It's a 6-drawer dresser. It's
2 wide. It looks like a beautiful bureau that you would have in a bedroom.
Yeah. It's like white, but it's like an off white. and it has nice little black handles, and we bought it for the daycare, and it actually is a really beautiful dresser. And I didn't realize how heavy it was until we actually went to go get it. And
well, it comes in 3 boxes too, right?
It came in 3 boxes, but Amy and I were lifting. We're like, oh my goodness, this is like really heavy, even for IKEA, right?
Oh yeah, no, it was.
And then as you were putting it together, you said it was really, really super nice. So
if anybody's wondering what we're drinking this evening, I had planned on So Mrs. Cook's having her very first old fashioned. We'll see what she thinks. But
well, if I start slurring, then we know why.
So 2 shots of Angel's Envy, 5 very generous splashes of cocoa flavored bitters, a top of the line cocktail Italian cherry, and 2 pumps of real vanilla simple syrup, and all the ice you can handle. So Pledge Patriot says, we have an IKEA in Denver that is massive. I'm glad you got a good buy. Yeah, I mean, it was, but
I wish I could.
IKEA's like going on a treasure hunt. Those maps they used to have when we were kids with pirates, and they look like they went, like they followed a snake through the grass in order to get there. That's how I feel every time I go in there. So,
well, actually, I think it was 2 or 3 Christmases ago. Remember, I had to tell you to calm your shit.
Oh, yeah. Well, it all broke. So
no. Remember when we were in the store?
Oh, yeah. I was going to kill somebody. I'm not allowed to go there anymore.
I will not put him through IKEA. I don't even like IKEA. Like, there's nothing. Like, if I go in there and if I'm after something, like we purposely went, it was awful because we were purposely looking for a couple baby thing, like the dishes.
Yep, for the daycare.
And we know if you go up the 1 stairs, then that's where they are. And then Amy was like, well, let's go look and see if we can find the dresser or the shelf or whatever. And I'm like, okay. So we went around, and then next thing you know, we went in this great big huge circle, and we're still, I was like, and I looked, and I remember looking at Amy, I'm like, why are we still walking? Like, where are we? And damn, we didn't end right back up in that baby section again.
Can you imagine?
Like, I'm so done. I told her, I said, no, we're not going anymore. I said, we're going down. We're going to the warehouse, and we're leaving because I'm not doing it anymore. If there was
a fire in there, what would you do? I don't know. I would just lay down and accept my fate. Simple as that.
Like
I mean, the furniture alone would burn like that.
Mm-hmm.
And, so.
And it's not an enjoyable shopping experience. It really isn't. And it frustrates me and to no end.
It's kind of like if they took all of the joy out of shopping and then said, in order for you to step into the store, they have to kick you in the nuts. That's about the joy. But they'll say, I promise, there's meatballs
and dollar hot dogs.
Yes. And ice cream. So as long as you don't mind getting lost, spending too much money, doing all the work yourself and getting kicked in the nuts, your treat at the end is a thing of Swedish meatballs and inferior ice cream. Yeah, it is.
Their food's gross. It's not good.
No. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, what do you think? Last of Us this week. What'd you think?
Actually, you know what? I liked it.
I loved it.
It was a good recovery from the week before, because the week before was freaking miserable.
I'm gonna say, we said it, the week before, episode 7 was probably, I felt, the weakest episode of the series.
They have a new meme going around. It says something about The Last of Us budget being like $3 billion or something like that. I can't remember how much it was. And then Pedro Pascal laying on a mattress for 3 episodes.
Ain't that? Yeah, they're like, oh, we gotta figure out how to spend it, but we can't spend it too, But yeah, it was. So this episode, to me, the number 8, I would venture to say was the best episode. Would you say, honey?
Mm-mm.
You didn't think so? What one did you like the best? The prepper one with Ron Swanson?
Yeah, Ron Swanson.
All
no, that was the best one.
Okay, maybe what I should say is this one was the most intense episode. It was certainly intense as far as the, it, to me, it was the most, maybe not the most emotional, and maybe I'm biased, recency bias, because this was the latest episode, but I absolutely fucking loved this because we got to see both Ellie and Joel, and especially Joel, on full on beast mode. Like, not just a little bit. He was like, there's no Ellie around. I don't have to hide it anymore. I'm going to kill 3 motherfuckers in the most violent way I possibly can.
Spoiler alert.
Oh, yeah. Well,
if you haven't watched it.
If you're here listening to us talk about episode 8 on Friday of the week the episode launched, then, yeah. So spoiler alert every time. So, yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
So the show opened up with creepy pastor. We always know that if a post-apocalyptic show is going to open up with a creepy pastor and an emaciated congregation, we know we're in for a bad time, don't we?
Well, I think that's one of the things that irks me the most is that with these apocalyptic shows, they always kind of follow the same pattern.
Yeah.
Like they don't have to have a creepy pastor.
No, I know.
They
you know
really
what it reminds me of?
Mm.
Not The Fog, The Mist. Stephen King's The Mist. Yeah.
Like you don't have to have that to make a show good. I don't know. They just don't have to have it.
No, I agree.
And of course, and then there is the whole thing that I've always said that if you can give us 100 zombies, I'd rather deal with 100 zombies than a creepy person that a whole bunch of people are following, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Because it means they'll do anything for them, and it's that sheep mentality, and they can't think for themselves and they're useless. But I don't know. I think they could have did without it, but I get it.
Oh,
they
yeah.
have to have a story.
Yep. And so there is. At the end, we're gonna get to the one nasty Rotten Tomatoes score again, and it's somebody we're familiar with. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna deal with it. But anyway, we'll get down to there. But so whenever you get into a post-apocalyptic show and it's a creepy pastor with a very connected or dependent congregation, we're going to be dealing with a big baddie. So they cut and they show.
Someone must be hearing me cough.
Oh yeah, ice in your veins. Yeah, he said we all got the same cough down here in the southern states. Must be something in the air. It's been tough. It just won't leave you alone,
just
will
dry.
it?
And of course, and I work in an office all day at the daycare and
around kids.
But my office, they did a lot of renovations, so I think there's still drywall dust and everything that I've been inhaling for the past 2 weeks. So
as long as it's not,
I apologize. I don't want to irritate
You'll be fine. Anybody. It's okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, then they cut to a mother and a daughter who are sobbing, and we find out that they lost their husband and father, respectively. Turns out that dude is the guy that stabbed Joel in the guts and Joel killed on the spot. So they're looking for the person who killed the father, and so we get a little interaction where she won't stop crying, and the pastor just backhands the little girl. I thought it was rather inappropriate.
Not right away.
Oh, that was a little later on?
No, that was a little later on. No, he backhands her after they catch Ellie, and then she says, "I think you should kill them both." And then he hauls off and he whacks her. Yeah.
So, if you guys want to ramp up the creep factor just a little bit, early on, and I missed this, but then when I was going back through doing the notes for it, they mentioned that it's too cold to bury the body, and I thought they were being legitimate. But remember my old creepy feely 10, they all went up, and I'm like, huh.
your terminus.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We're going to talk about that, because it took me about all of 3 minutes into this episode to be like, guess what, guys? Pretty sure we're dealing with cannibals here.
Well, and that's what I mean. Like the creepy pastor, everyone's starving to death. All of a sudden, and then all of a sudden, they have these little hidden Easter eggs and everything. And you're just like, well, it's predictable. We know what's going on, right? So
the character named James is played by an actor who's better known as a voice actor, Troy Baker. Now, he also does the voice of Joel in the video game, which is really cool. I like that. He brings in a pot of fresh meat for the women to put into the collective soup. And it turns out that he says it's venison. And as we know, they don't have any venison. They haven't brought the deer back yet. They ask him, what is it? He's like, it's venison. And you just know, you can just tell. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah, because she gets that look on her face.
But it's like, don't ask, don't tell. Because it
was a little red for human, though.
Yeah, well, whatever. Yeah. Well, I can't say I've cut up human.
Well, come on now.
So, yeah. But the entire congregation eats it down hungrily, because I guess they didn't have much of a choice, did they? But then we go from there. We end up cutting back to Ellie and Joel. And like you said, 3 episodes, Joel laying on his back, poor thing. He's maybe slightly better. she had given him, well, no, we'll talk about that in a minute, but Ellie's like, well, guess what? We got to go out. We got to go hunt some food down. And of course, she sees a rabbit and gets ready to shoot it. And because she's inexperienced, the little old rabbit runs away, right?
Yeah.
But fear not, a great big buck steps out soon enough, and Ellie shoots it. And like me, shoots it and then has to track the deer down because it wasn't a kill shot right away, right? Only once did it go right through the heart, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she's off trying to track it down. And when she finally finds it, it turns out that the pastor and his right-hand goon, James, are already there on top of the deer. And so it's kind of like a Mexican standoff for a couple minutes, right, Darlene? Yeah. And when they do, they finally decide, hey, this is what we're going to do. I'll give you half the deer if you guys bring us back some penicillin. And in a, I want to say, completely unrealistic, but it's a nod to the video game, Ellie's like, hey, how in the world do I inject this penicillin? Because she had no idea. I don't know if I would know. Mm-hmm. But she's like, guess what? I think we'll inject it straight into the wound. Probably the worst idea ever. But
well, it just has, I think penicillin just has to get into the bloodstream.
I think so, yeah. But doesn't it remind you of a video game? It's like, oh, I'm sick. Let's inject it into the wound. And 10 minutes later, I'm better, right?
Well, you don't inject it into the wound. You have to eat the first aid bags.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah. But it was, so she injects him and I don't know, within a couple of hours, I would say, he starts coming around a little bit. I mean, I guess it's possible,
penicillin
right?
does work fairly quickly when it's in the bloodstream.
Mm-hmm.
But what kind of irked me is that she didn't know how much to give him.
Right.
Because you have to give them, like, I think penicillin is dosed by weight.
Yeah, probably. And, I'm sure it is, yeah.
So, like, basically she was just, like, guessing on how much to give him. And then she's like, you know, and then she's injected it into the wound.
Yep.
Everything. I don't know if it would actually work that way. You'd have to research on penicillin. But
again,
you know, when they give it through the IV,
right,
it's got to go into your bloodstream. And then if you take it by pill, you know, it's still absorbed. But actually going through damaged tissue into a wound, I don't know if it would still take.
Give a shout out to Aaron of Two Chicks Homestead. Always good to have you in here. Yeah, so I don't know. But like I said, it was, I kind of like the little nods to the video game because that is very much a video game thing to do. Like, hey, you're sick. Here's an injection. Now I'm better, right? Because that's what happens in video games. So I was cool with that. But at some point during Ellie and the creepy pedo pastor's interactions, he realizes that her friend, he doesn't know it's Joel yet, is the guy who killed their fellow community member, which is cool. You know, whatever. He doesn't let on. So he sends an entire team or a bit of a team to go track them down, right? Follow Ellie back.
There was like 4. Was there 6 of them?
Yeah, well, there was less when Joel was done with them.
Yeah, but there was 6.
I think it was 6.
Yeah, there was James and the pastor, and then there was 4 other guys.
Yes. Yeah. And so Ellie hears him sneaking up. She's like, I'm going to go run a diversion, which is cool. So she hops on the horse like she's, you know, Calamity Jane or something and drives, you know, kind of gallops out of town, except to have her horse shot, which I guess we kind of figured. But she left Joel laying on his back with a knife. And he was starting to come around just a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Aaron said she was confused at first because she thought it was Tommy's commune. I can see that. You know what, Aaron, you're not alone because the first 90 seconds of the episode, I thought they were back at Tommy's as well.
I think Tommy was more down south, though. I don't think the weather would have been.
Because
him and Ellie were traveling for quite a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a 3-day or a 5-day journey.
5 days, I think, yeah. So, yeah, I'm not sure, but I don't know. I always get pissed off when they kill the horses.
Yeah, I know. All I could think of was, well, at least there'll be meat, right? But
yeah, but they take the horse back and they put it in a shed.
Well, it was really cold out, right? So
yeah, but good. I don't know. I think they're just addicted to the other kind of meat.
Yeah, you're probably not wrong, right? So,
yeah.
And Aaron says there was probably an obvious reason why it wasn't Tommy's commune, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, she leaves Joel with a knife, and he's starting to come around a little bit, and Joel is one tough son of a bitch, right? So she takes off, they capture her, and then in typical horror movie fashion, they're like, hey, let's split up. So 3 of us will take Ellie and the dead horse back to camp, and we'll leave 3 people here to find
and
Joel.
How do two men drag a dead horse?
Because they didn't have a horse, did they? They didn't have horses with them, did they?
No.
Right, they would have long killed their horses probably, right?
Yeah, but horses weigh like what?
I don't know, 1,000 pounds? I don't know. I have no idea.
How would you drag a horse?
If anybody out there knows how much a horse weighs, but yeah.
I can't. Well, like, because like even if you watch like the old, like, well, for example, 1923.
Right.
Whenever they killed a horse, it was basically left in the field or it was buried where it was shot.
Yeah, they would dig a hole and shoot it into it, right?
Because they can't move it once it's dead.
No, that's true.
So how are they dragging this horse, right?
Didn't figure that out.
Yeah, so that was
they
never show it either. So
no. So I would say the best part in this show is what happens next. So Joel, who is kind of not in great health, hears them coming down the stairs.
Yeah.
He manages to get the upper hand on one, and then they cut to Joel again, and he has one strapped to a chair and another one tied up across the room and beat up pretty good, right?
Yeah. Well, he jumps the one outside.
That he kills that one though. There was three. He takes out three altogether.
The one he kills in the basement,
right?
Because he came down.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't show him getting the second guy, but then it shows him getting the third guy outside. Remember, he jumped him outside and hit him with the gun.
Right. Yeah, because he does dispatch all three of them, right? Yeah. So Joel, and this was like where he channeled his inner Rick Grimes, I would say. He has him tied to a chair and takes a great big blade and just drives it right into his thigh. And at that point, I was like, yeah, this is the Joel. And this is right out of the video game. There's this whole torture scene in there as well. And I mean, he's a hard ass bastard. He puts a knife in Buddy's mouth and says, "You point to where your camp is, where they're holding Ellie. And if your buddy tells me something wrong or opposite, I'm killing you both." How did he kill? So, and the guy points to it, shows him where the camp is. And how did he kill that one? He stabbed him, didn't he? Or slit his throat?
He stabbed him in the chest. I think.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he goes, and then the other guy's like, "Why did you do that?"
Yeah, he was, they were like, right, offended that he killed him. And I'm like, yeah. Oh, yeah. So, okay. To back it up.
It was in the knee because he threatened to pop his kneecap out. Remember?
Yeah. So I think it was right above his knee.
And then he threatened to pop the kneecap.
Yeah. He's like, I know how to pop a kneecap off with a knife.
Mm-hmm.
And then he kills the guy after that, which was great.
Yeah. And then the other guy's like, "Why'd you do that?" He showed you. And he goes, I'm not telling you shit. And he goes, "Well, that's okay, because I believe him anyway."
Yeah. And then
he takes a pipe.
Yeah. He clubs him to death. And the thing, I'm going to talk about a little bit as the show goes on, but all the violence in this, in almost all the episodes is shown off screen. Hey,
it's like is it?
Well, oh yeah. I mean,
I don't know.
They showed full frontal nudity of a cadaver. Then they showed the dead bodies hanging in the meat closet, right?
I know.
So, it's obviously an intentional move from the creators for you to use your imagination, I'm guessing, but it's weird. Like the worst of the violence is just off screen all the time. But then again, there's these scenes that stick with you, like when they go to the meat locker and there's 3, I don't know, dismembered bodies hanging there. And they're as gruesome as anything I've ever seen in a horror movie. So, for what it's worth. But I love when Joel goes complete badass and he's like, "Here we go. I'm stabbing a guy. I'm threatening to pop his kneecap off. I'm stabbing him in the chest. I'm beating him to death. And then I'm going to, hike myself up, even though I'm sick as hell. And I'm going to go and I'm going to rescue Ellie." And then this is where we find out about sick pedo pastor, right? Yeah. Yeah. He's even worse than you would imagine. He's not only a religious phony. He's not only a cannibal. It turns out that he likes little kids too, it seems, right? Mm-hmm. And he has a conversation with Ellie. Ellie's in a cell. And I thought this was some of the best acting that Bella has done in the entire show when she was in the cage, because she played like innocent, where she was rubbing his hand and everything. Yeah. And then she broke his finger. She's like, and she gets all friggin' like mean. And she's like, "You tell him that I was the one who broke your hand." But then she gets a little bit scared too. Right. Mm-hmm. So it was great. I loved it. And so, he tells her, okay, well, let's move along here. Ellie's in the cell and she calls him out. Yeah, there we go. Aaron said the same thing. And I agree. Bella did redeem herself in this episode because I thought her acting was subpar at best in the previous episode,
Mm-hmm.
but she really, really did good in this. And she showed a little bit of emotional range that she hasn't shown previously. But this pedo pastor guy's like, Ellie, we could be partners. And then he's like, we could be more than partners. And you just get this vibe like, oh my God, if you ever talked to my kid like that, I would skin you alive. Breaks his finger. And then we cut to Ellie laying on the butcher's table, right, darling?
Well, they drag her out.
Yeah, they drag her out. And then the next scene is them in the killing floor, right?
Mm-hmm.
And doesn't that remind you of Terminus? Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's two, I think, very intentional nods to The Walking Dead in this episode. And the first is Ellie. She's on this, what looks like a beautiful butcher's block table. And I'm like, oh my God, what a waste. But they have a cleaver. They're ready to dissect her. And she hollers at him, I'm infected.
Yeah.
And didn't that remind you of Bob? Remember Bob from The Walking Dead when he hollers out tainted meat?
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, yes.
Well, he's laughing first.
Yeah, he's laughing. And like, what the hell are you laughing at? And he's like, because I'm infected. Tainted meat. And so between tainted meat with Bob, yeah, he's like, whatever.
Well, she bit him on the hand.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what, yeah. So she claimed that he was infected. And it was really good. I enjoyed it.
But I wonder where...
Oh, yeah. Aaron said she missed the ear on the floor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ellie sees it.
Yeah, she saw it.
But I wonder if where Ellie is immune to it, she's probably a carrier.
She could be. I was wondering that,
I wonder
too.
if he actually would have been infected.
I don't know.
They never elaborate on it because, like, obviously she has something in her body that can fight off the virus.
Sure.
And usually you kill viruses with viruses, right? Like,
yeah.
They kind of like fight each. So I wonder if maybe she is a carrier.
She could be. It'd be like
they've never said.
The Black Death. What was not Bloody Mary? What was the lady's name that carried that they thought was a super spreader during the Black Death? You remember Jeremiah, the TV show?
Yep.
Yeah. And do you remember the woman that he kept in the glass, and she talked about that story. Anyway, during the Black Death, there was a super spreader and Typhoid Mary.
Typhoid Mary, yeah.
Yep. So it kind of reminds me of that, where maybe she's a carrier, but she can't get infected. I don't know.
Well, because she probably can't get infected because when she gets bit, she's already a carrier.
Right.
So the virus can't get any worse than what it is, right? So
true.
So I wonder if she is a carrier, if she can give it to people.
So she uses her tainted meat as a distraction. They slam the cleaver down. She grabs the cleaver and chops Buddy right in the throat. It was pretty good, eh?
Yeah.
Kills him, and Mr. Pedo Pastor runs off like a little bitch that he is, right? She chases him, and now this is where...
No, he chased her. She took off.
She took off, right?
And he was chasing her because he shot at her.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. And she was running for her life at this point, right? So... And this is where it is like beat for beat right out of the video game. I thought it was a restaurant in the video game. They said it was a saloon in this. But anyway, she goes in, hides behind the bar. He comes in, chases after her. She throws, a torch at him or something like that? I can't remember. It was something. Oh,
it's like a lantern or something.
No, it was a stick. Remember she had a burnt
up
stick?
Like an ember stick.
Yeah. And throws it. Catches the curtains on fire and the building just starts burning. So it gets pretty intense as he, it
looked like an old ski lodge.
Yeah, it did. And we're going to talk about where they filmed it because it's kind of cool. But when that happens, she kind of chases him around. He chases her around trying to find her. And it was in the video game, one of the hardest levels that I played. I remember dying because you're also contending with the Cordites, is that what they call them or whatever? Anyway, the Cordyceps, the bad.
Yeah, there wasn't one at all in this episode.
Nope, not a single. There hasn't been barely any in the whole.
Maybe they can't survive in the cold because they have to have roots.
Yeah.
Right? And the ground's frozen. You can't have roots in the.
That is true.
Yeah.
So I can't remember how. I mean, she ends up dispatching him, of course, but how did it happen? Did she sneak up on him or do you remember?
Well, she snuck up on him.
Right.
And
he kind of...
Well, she stabbed him in the side.
That's what it was, yeah.
And then he threw her down and he started...
Trying to assault her.
Well, yeah, and then... But when the knife flew...
Right.
And then he threw her down and then she reaches up and grabs the knife from under the table. and hits him and then starts chopping him to bits. So,
and that was it was off. So the violence again was just below camera frame. And what you get is, a close pan into Ellie's face as she's repeatedly stabbing him and absolutely decimating him. I mean, the blood is just splattering. And I have to say, I really felt like she did well in this. You could see her go from, I don't know, there was all of it. The evil Ellie, the vulnerable Ellie, the broken Ellie, the hard Ellie. And yeah, like Aaron says, such a good scene of hers because she's there and the blood's coming up and she's emoting and she's sad and she's angry and she's protective all at once. And then she just, because in the video game, Joel comes in and pulls Ellie off him. And I can't remember if he finishes him or if he just pulls her off, but he stopped her. Whereas in this, she had to stop herself. Right. And it was intense. I thought that part, but as she leaves, she goes out of the burning, hotel, restaurant, saloon, whatever it is, and she runs right into Joel. And
well, no, he comes up behind her.
Yeah. So like they're there. They run into each other. And at first I thought she was going to try to stab him or something,
Well, she didn't have a weapon with her.
Right. She left it behind.
Yeah.
But Joel hugs her. And this to me was like, this was the scene, this is the one that kind of broke me a little bit because he says, "It's okay, baby girl." And if you remember back, the last time he said baby girl was when his daughter was in his arms.
Yeah.
So it means that he's made the full transition from, dad who lost his daughter, who was absolutely broken, who could probably never love somebody again, to the point where he calls Ellie that term of endearment that means he absolutely cares for her.
Now, did you see when they were walking away? He was walking like he was 80 years old.
Was he? Oh,
yeah.
I didn't. I mean, he was hurting probably still.
Yeah,
right?
But he was walking. He looked like an old man with his jeans that were too big and just kind of hobbling along. So I think it's probably going to age him a little bit more.
Sure.
Too, so
just the emotion, like both the physical and the emotional of it.
Well, I think just for the show in general.
Oh, I can see that. And it was such a good scene where they just kind of walk off to the lake and it ends there. I loved it. It teared me up a little bit. I'm a sucker for this kind of stuff. You know that anyway, whenever I watch it, but it was just, man, I don't know. I was thinking back, episode 1, which is basically 2 episodes, was a fucking perfect episode. It was such a great bookend between, the apocalypse happening, between him losing his daughter and then the opening scene where they had to, burn the body of the kid. All of that was so stinking good. And then was it Bill? I always forget. I'm sorry, guys. I always forget the prepper's name. Was it Bill? Yeah, Bill.
Bill and Frank.
Yeah, Bill and Frank. That was a perfect episode. And then this one. So you basically had, what was that? Episode 1, episode 4 or 3? 3, and then episode 8. All 3 of them were incredible. And I see my brother, Kentucky, Jason, wants to know if wants to know if I'm coming south in 2 weeks. No, I'm not going to make it to Self-Reliance this time. Sorry, no. I think this is the other Jason. I get you guys mixed up.
But
Sorry,
we will
Jason.
Be down there.
This is Moonshine Jason. The end of April.
Yeah.
April 22nd.
April 22nd, 23rd.
We're going to be going down.
We're leaving the 22nd.
Yeah.
And let me check my calendar.
We're going down to check on the land, and then we're going to Nicole's for the weekend, and then we're heading back up. But I will be down for...
Yes, we're leaving the 22nd, so we'll probably be in Tennessee about the 24th, 25th.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We'll be in Camden for a day or 2, and we'll be moving on to Nicole's, and then we'll be coming back. But I'm going to be down for like almost 7 weeks, which I'm really excited for. So, Aaron says, did you also see the Sunday after the last one? They're doing a making of show. I did not.
No.
That's cool. We'll have to, you'll be in England, but that's okay. I'll watch it and spoil it for you. No,
I can watch it. I'll watch it before you. I'm 8 hours ahead.
Yeah.
And Gracie's bringing her Fire Stick. So I'll watch it before you.
I will, Jason. Jason says to text him and he'll come by. That'll be good. You get to meet a few people, darling. So, like I said, this episode emotionally was top notch. Storytelling was great. We're going to deal with the one dissenter on Rotten Tomatoes after. The guy pisses me off, so we're going to deal with him. But anyway, So I scratched down a few thoughts about this episode because there was some interesting stuff. But like I said, the violence, and I'm sure this is intentional, 90% of the violence is off screen. You don't see a whole lot more than that. You know, when it's more implied, you see some blood, but then they have these shock scenes. Like I said, the cadaver laying completely naked at the beginning, or the dead bodies hanging. So there are some, but for the most part, they've kept the fungus, you know, the walkers or whatever, they've kept them down from being they're just not a huge threat for the most part. And the violence is removed a bit, you know. I don't know if it's intentional or what, but she says you're going to go find Mr. Moore. Who's Mr. Moore in England? Who would that be? You'll have to fill me in, Aaron. I don't know if it's the old fashioned that hit me or not, but I'm not sure who Mr. Moore would be.
I'm not sure.
I don't know, but that's okay. She'll fill us in, I'm sure. So, like I said, the hanging bodies were absolutely gruesome. The callbacks to The Walking Dead were cool. I don't know if it was intentional, but you couldn't watch that episode and not think of the two, you know, the cannibals with Bob and the killing floor scenes, which was probably the most gruesome scene in the whole of Walking Dead, right? Jonathan Moore from You. There you go.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't.
I've only watched 2 episodes of season 4. I don't like it.
Aaron says that the second half of the season is much better.
Okay.
So I give her your phone number so she can text you. So yeah. So remember that, Aaron. Now you got to text her because I told her. I finally remembered. But
I'll get some text. Who's this crazy?
Yeah. So true. Yeah. So I still don't know how. I mean, they covered a lot of ground in this episode, but do you think they're gonna completely tie up the first video game in this season? I
don't think so,
because it's only like a 42-minute episode or something.
No,
like
but
that.
I heard it's supposed to tie up something, but like as in you like killing Joel type of tie up, or
I don't know.
No.
I mean, in the video game, he takes Ellie to a research facility. They finally find one, and then
I think the Fireflies are in the last episode.
Okay.
But I don't think it's going to be tied up. And you know it's going to be a pisser. And I wish they're not going to do it, but I have this sneaking suspicion that it is going to leave on a cliffhanger.
Yep.
And that irritates me so much. Like,
Erin said she saw pictures of a pregnant lady. I don't remember a pregnant lady in the video game.
She's probably a Firefly.
Yeah, no doubt.
But it's going to, like, because the last it's this Sunday, right?
Yes.
In 2 days. Yeah. No, I hope they don't do it, but it seems to be following all the patterns that they're going to leave it on a cliffhanger.
I kind of agree with you.
And then when's the next season? Till 2024.
Yeah, there we are. Yeah, it won't be till 2024. Although this is 2023, isn't it?
Yeah, but don't you find it's kind of leading the same type of path that they're going to do that.
Well, there's a reviewer I watch on YouTube, and that's exactly what he says. He's like, I have this sneaking suspicion that they're heading to a cliffhanger.
And that's and I wish they wouldn't do that because that pisses me off. When
like, Aaron says, or maybe not 2025. Oh my God.
I don't know. Have they even started filming season 2?
No, but they're supposed to start soon, from what I understand.
Yeah, so it'll probably be late 2024.
Yeah, okay. When
because they're not filming in Edmonton right now, and they're not filming in Calgary that I know of.
They're probably, depending on, it probably has a lot to do with House of the Dragon as well.
Well, and weather.
Yeah, my guess is it probably won't be till January 2025.
Probably.
So here we go. 2 years. It's going to be like the Stranger Things, where there's 17 years between episodes.
Have they released the new season? For
no,
that no. And I know if they were filming in Calgary, Amy would know.
Yeah,
because we're going to Calgary on Sunday,
right.
And she'd have me hunt and Pedro down. So I know they're not filming yet.
No, I've heard they're getting ready to before too long, but. Yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah,
it'll be. I'm looking. I mean, whatever. When
she's already told me that we're hunting him down when he comes back. So.
Yeah. Aaron says it'll feel like, who are these people again? That's it. You'll have to. But you know what? It'll give us an excuse to sit down and binge watch all 9 episodes.
That's what I did with Game of Thrones.
We used to do it with The Walking Dead until it got foolish.
With the Game of Thrones, as soon as we found out the premiere date, I'd go back and watch. I'd say I'd watched the season before, but I would watch it all. So like it would take me up until it got to that new season, and then you're kind of like, and then it just feels like it's continuing on.
So here we go. Once again, I went on Rotten Tomatoes.
Of course you did.
Yep, because I like to do that. And it had a 96%, which meant of the 30-some reviewers, there was only one negative dissenter. And it was our buddy, Randy Dinkovich from Tilt Magazine yet again.
Is this one that's obsessed with sex?
He was. Yeah. Now, this time, not as much, but for some reason, he has a hard-on for The Last of Us, and not in a good way. He just doesn't get it. And you know what? Everybody's entitled to their opinion, even if it's wrong. So that's cool. Mm-hmm. You know? Aaron says, I'm so glad we just watched it for the first time these last few months. Yeah, it's been fun. It's been kind of an event being able to watch it each week, eh? So, all right. I've got 3 quotes I'm going to read, and then we're going to talk about each one. We'll read one, and then we'll talk about them, because the dude is like, you know. So, he says, this is a show that is fine with eating people, physically abusing women. He's talking about the bad guy. So this is the pastor is a guy who's fine with eating people, physically abusing women to show his power, and when the opportunity presents itself, even abusing children. Like The Last of Us, other attempt at nuance, David is a remarkably thin character whose one moral quandary seems rather idiotic when we just saw a teenager hunt and kill a wild animal with relative ease. So here's the thing. Once again, he's complaining about one-dimensional bad antagonists in the show. Mm-hmm. I don't get it, because what more do you expect when you have a 9-episode season? Like, does he want to spend entire episodes building backstories for these bad guys? Isn't it enough for him to know?
Well, I think, okay, I don't fully agree with him, but I do wish they could have went another route with the creepy pastor type of thing. But I find with The Last of Us, the one thing that is kind of irking me on it is that they're introducing all these characters really quickly, and then they're killing them off really quickly.
Right.
And so like,
doesn't feel like there's as much emotional stake or something.
Well, but it doesn't feel like it's it kind of feels like it's just like a one show.
Sure.
Like, you know what I mean? Like a one trick pony, right? Yeah. And it's like, okay, so there's so much more they could have did with that episode. Like, it was an incredible episode. It was, but I think they could have did over maybe 4 episodes. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that, because like, there's way more to it than this guy eating. Like why don't they elaborate more on how they got where they were? Why are they eating the people all of a sudden? Like, are they killing the people to eat them? But like, you know what? Like, it just builds backstory. You know what I mean? And
does it feel a little bit like the final season of Game of Thrones? Do you remember how it's like, hey, let's go on a boat ride, and then all of a sudden they're like an 8-day boat ride away in like 3 seconds, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it doesn't.
You'd like.
It doesn't have to be so rushed, you know what I mean? Like, and like it kind of reminds me of you know what it reminds me of as like a sitcom.
Okay. Oh, like self-contained episodes.
Yeah, every episode.
How about SVU, like SVU as well, right?
Yeah, that's what it kind of feels like.
You got some characters, you know.
Yeah, but then you get to the point where you're like, I need more.
Right.
I want more. I need to understand more.
Yeah, I can see that.
But that's what it reminds me of. It's like a sitcom, and every week it's like something different, and it's kind of like they could elaborate. Like, at least with The Walking Dead, they actually spent the time telling the story, even though sometimes it dragged out and sometimes it got a little tedious, but they actually spent the time telling the backstories, telling how these people got to where they were, why they are the way they are, why they went here, why they do this, why they do that. Like, and I totally get, like, I don't know why they have to rush it so much. Like, why do they have to be like that?
It would be nice. You're right. Like Erin says here, she said, it's all in a hurry, and it's like, but wait, I want more about this idea.
Exactly.
And you're not wrong. You're right. It is very similar to a crime procedural drama, right?
Yeah.
Where you have these characters that you know, and they do have this kind of loosely based ongoing narrative thread, you know, that ties each episode together. But for the most part, they show up, they deal with the bad guy, and, you know, in Law and Order, of course, the bad guy goes to jail, and then next week it's a whole new bad guy. But in this case, the bad guy gets stabbed to death, and then on to the next bad guy.
Exactly.
And,
it's like sitcom-y. Right?
Yeah, I can see that. And it's a shame, because in in what we call modern day peak TV, ever since The Sopranos or The Wire, whatever you want to call it, since then. And you go to Breaking Bad, and Breaking Bad was incredible at this. Long, drawn-out character arcs, full-fleshed stories where you had a big bad from start to finish each season that eventually, sometimes like Gus Fring or whatever, would last 2 or 3 seasons. Mm-hmm. But it really, you're right, it is missing it really could have been 2 10-episode seasons, couldn't it?
Exactly. Well, and okay.
There it is. Aaron says it right there. Any episode could be skipped and you didn't miss much.
And the thing is that it's and you want to be able to relate to it.
Yes.
Right? And like, it's a show and everything, but you want to be able to relate.
Sure.
And
yeah, I get it.
There's no way in hell someone is getting stabbed with something that is like 1.5 inches like this into his stomach, because he's not a big guy. So you don't know if it hit any organs or anything, but there's no way he's going to get stabbed. She's going to stitch him up with a dirty needle and thread.
Yeah, that's true.
And then inject penicillin into his wound. And then all of a sudden she's going to go hunting. They're going to kill off 6 people, burn down a building, plus kill the creepy bad guy in 45 minutes.
No, you're right.
There's no way. Like, and you go through these episodes and you're just like, that's not even
I know it was done on purpose.
Of reality in that, and you want to relate to these these characters, and you're just kind of like, there's no way.
Barrett wants to know, I wonder what kind of different types of meals they made with all that off meat.
Oh, well,
yeah.
Stews and roasts.
What did they call it? Long pig? Isn't that what they call humans? I forget where that comes from, but yeah.
But,
oh, yeah.
Yeah, but like, that's the thing. Like, you can't, and you want to relate to it, and you're like, okay, yeah, Joel got stabbed. It looked like he got stabbed with like a broom handle or something.
No,
right?
it was a piece of baseball bat.
Oh yeah, but it was about the size of a broom handle.
Yeah, well, about twice the size those are.
Yeah.
They're big, yeah.
And
that's a puncture wound. That's not good.
And the thing is, and you're supposed to believe that he got up and Joel's a badass, and I love Joel's character, and I love Pedro Pascal, but within 25 minutes he killed like 4 people, saved Ellie, and then they moved on. And walked away in the sunset.
If he died, there wouldn't be a show, right? But
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't.
It's the video game aspect of it.
But you want to try to relate to it, and I think they could have done so much more with it. And I think if they had done more with it, it probably would be even better, right? And people would be more invested in it.
I can see that. I mean, I've enjoyed the hell out of it.
Oh, no, and I'm not knocking the show. I really do like it, but
you got to be, we got to be legitimate in our criticism, because, it'll be interesting to see how episode 9 ties it up, because
it's not going to tie it up. It's going to be a cliffhanger,
probably,
and it'll be another bad guy, and then it'll be like 42 minutes long, and then you'll be sitting there watching it, and all of a sudden, and then it'll be over, and then you got to wait 1.5 years because that's what they do.
Well, we'll see. It'll be interesting.
It's frustrating.
I'm looking forward to it. So,
I am too, but it's just a pain in the ass. It irritates me.
Here's another quote from our buddy Randy Dinkovich. But instead of offering us a human with real moral conflicts, David is just another monster with literal devil flames shooting out of his eyeballs, leering through each moment in monologue with all the textual subtlety of a pop-up book written for a 3-year-old. In other words, it's not very deep, right?
I agree.
And that's kind of what you said, yeah. And then the last one is, by the time Joel's magical recovery occurs and he proceeds to torture and slay a group of David's men in the final 10 minutes, killing them even after there was really no reason to, bashing in a dude's head with a steel pipe after he told you the information you wanted seems a bit harsh.
Nah,
absolutely. The Last of Us makes clear it is throwing nuance to the wind in favor of some indulgent, superficial brooding on the nature of good versus evil, or evil versus more evil. So, this is the part that pisses me off about this guy, because he has this problem with moral ambiguity. He thinks that Joel should be good, the bad guy should be bad. It's okay to build the characters up, but there's no room for evil in the good guys.
But in the first 2 episodes, Joel even admitted he wasn't a good person. So we
know he's not.
We already know he's not a good person, but now you're heading into the same thing as The Walking Dead.
Right.
Because you remember we had that discussion before. It's like...
About Rick and Shane?
No. Just about Rick's group.
Right.
You follow them all along and you're sitting there watching it. You're like, oh yeah, they're the good guys. They're the good guys. And then as it moves on, you're thinking, no, actually, I think they're the bad guys.
Yeah, you absolutely
And
can make a case for that.
because they're the ones that purposely went out and always caused trouble.
Yep.
Like with Negan's group. They're the ones that snuck in and killed those dozen men while they were freaking sleeping.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
And then all of a sudden, then they get mad and then we're supposed to feel sad because Negan retaliated and killed Glenn and Abraham, but they literally killed men in their sleep.
Yeah.
Right. And the thing is, were these men good? Probably not.
No, they were.
And they weren't. But you know what? That wasn't their problem.
They poked the bear, right?
But it wasn't their problem.
No,
it wasn't their issue. But they purposely went out looking for these fights and these battles, and they did it with the governor too. Went out purposely, and then we're supposed to cheer them on like they're the good guys. And actually, I don't think they were.
Well, I mean, you look at Breaking Bad, and I mean, I loved Walter White. I thought he was incredible, but he was far from a good guy, right?
Yeah,
and that's part of what these are, right? And like Barrett Bishop says, survival takes desperate actions. Yeah. He's not wrong, because there is no good and bad. There's just, like he said, evil and more evil, right?
Exactly. And we have established, first off, that Joel is not a good person.
Not even a little bit.
Tess even said that. We're not good people.
No.
And you know what? For them to accept that, that's fine. But that's the problem with Walking Dead, is that Rick would never admit that they were not good people. That
pissed me off.
Like, they kept on claiming, oh, we're the good guys. No, you're not.
No,
you're not.
But I'm sure Hitler thought he was a good guy too.
Well, he probably did. But that's the thing. Like, but they weren't good. Right?
I think you'll like this quote, hon, because I think it sums up what you were talking about. And nobody else talked about it on the episodes, right? So it says, this was not an episode of television looking to inspire an audience, or, as the series goes, aspire to anything beyond its own existence, to ensure that it hits the big beats of the video game without leaving any room for any of the smaller in-between moments that would make some of these stories feel more dimensional, or in the very least, with more consequences. Right? That's what you said. Again, that they hit the big beats of the video game, but they don't leave any room for breathing in between, right? And maybe 16 episodes might have done it, or maybe 2 10-episode series, you know? And
well, I think they could have elaborated more.
Yeah, Byron says Rick liked to fuck around and find out too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, he always did. He loved to fuck around and find out.
That irritated me so much. Like, you're watching the episode, and they're like, oh, well, we got to go out and we got to do that. Why?
Yep.
Stay the hell where you are.
Yeah.
Grow
just
a
be happy
garden.
where you are. I
like,
know.
Why do you have to keep going out? Why do you have to keep drawing attention to yourself? Like, if you're in a Walking Dead / Last of Us apocalyptic thing, the last thing you want is to draw attention to yourself. So why would you go out and purposely keep meeting all these people to draw more attention to yourself? Like, you're just asking for trouble.
Yeah.
And they all they constantly went looking for it.
Yeah, and it found them. And
it was a sad episode, but you know what? You had it coming, man.
Yeah, well, Glenn and Abraham. I mean, those deaths were on Rick. 100% they were.
They were.
Yeah, because they went out to do it, right? And Aaron says probably why we stopped watching Walking Dead.
No, it's probably why I stay home all the time. Just keep your shit to yourself. You don't need to go out there and get involved with all these. And if you're going out there, like the Last of Us too, like if you're going out there and you know these people are crazy, why would you get involved with them? Just walk the other way. There is nothing telling you have to go be friends or pair up with these people. Just worry about yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like I don't understand why all these people. Oh, well, we have to go trade. We have to set up trading. No, you don't.
Just be self-sufficient. Don't worry about it.
Worry about yourself.
Don't go to Seaside. Was that the town where they always were going to stir up shit with the all-woman crowd? It's like, whatever. Just fuck off, you know?
Yeah, like, leave them alone.
Yeah, because you're right. They did. They brought a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
He said Rick should have been named Karen with as much trouble as he caused.
Right.
Well, and the thing is
true.
That he killed... what pissed me off is he killed Shane early on for way less than... what he did for himself later on.
Shane was a way better leader.
Way better.
His first thing was he did not want to be involved with anybody, and he just worried about the people that he was with. And he didn't want to bring anybody new into the group. He didn't want and if they left, they left.
Absolutely.
But Rick, we got to go save them and save them. No, you don't. You know what? If they're in a car and they want to go taxiing around and driving around and they get attacked, That's their problem.
100%.
Stay the hell home.
So I don't know did I tell you about the story about when production was shut down for a half hour or so from the boy who did something stupid?
Yes.
Yeah.
You're telling
So they were filming. Aaron says, "But stuffing thangs."
Right.
Yeah. For a second, I read that as stuffing thongs, but I'm like, nope, it's thangs.
But what Rick did trickled onto Carl, and that's how Carl got bit.
That's true, yeah.
Because Rick had this thing where they had to save the
everybody.
entire world,
Yep.
and so Carl's death's on him too.
Yep. And in the comic book, Carl lived to be an old man.
Mm-hmm.
That apparently the Walking Dead comic book just had its last episode or its last issue. So this was interesting. I got reading about this the other day. I don't know where the story came from, but it was interesting. So they were filming in Olds, which is a small town near or south of Red Deer here in Alberta. They had everybody on. Everybody was there that day. All the big names. They're sitting there. They are filming. One of the production assistants looks up to a nearby apartment window, and he sees what appears to be a gun with a scope on it pointing at the actors. And of course, these Hollywood type are scared of guns. And so they panic, lock the set down, call the cops.
Yeah, in Olds of all places.
In Olds,
right?
yeah. So this is what happened. It was an 18-year-old
fan.
He loved the show. He was up in his bedroom. He had his airsoft rifle out. And he's like, hey, I'd like to see a little closer of the action. So he points his airsoft rifle out the window to get a better look at what's going on. And of course, everybody thought he was the,
why don't you just take the scope off the rifle?
Because he's an 18-year-old idiot, right?
Yeah, or get some binoculars.
So they're charging him as an adult. They threw the whole book at him, and it's like, it was just a fucking stupid thing to do, and I don't know why.
And they're actually still charging him.
Yeah. He's gone to court, and they said he could face fines and a jail time. So how fucking stupid! I mean, he was dumb.
Yeah,
it was absolutely dumb because you don't point a gun, even a fake airsoft toy, at somebody without
your lazy ass and go down there.
Yeah, I know, right? So,
because I have heard if you go down. In between takes and stuff like that, if he's not too tired, Pedro will come over and sign autographs and stuff. Like,
Isn't that
he's
cool?
Actually really friendly,
really accessible.
And well, there was a story too of a guy. He was working on a food truck or something, and he needed some. He worked like a 20-hour day.
Okay,
and he was getting hollered at by the production crew or something because he wasn't moving quick enough.
Oh,
and he was trying to load boxes into the back of his truck, and Pedro came over and helped him load the boxes up.
Isn't that something?
And because he could tell that the guy was tired.
Sure.
Right? Like I heard he's actually a really decent guy, and he will, and if he's not exhausted and he's in between takes and he will come sign autographs.
What I think is kind of cool is the fact that he's hit it big later in life. So he's had to struggle for a long time.
He's 47.
Yeah. So to me, that's probably why he appreciates the fame more. Right.
And he does. And he's actually from what I heard, he's pretty easygoing. And as long as you don't piss him off, he'll probably come over and do it, right?
That's cool. I can see that. I'll be like, hey, Pedro, my wife has a big crush on you. Come and give her a big hug. It's fine.
Take Amy down there and let her pump his leg.
It's like a little puppy dog. So we had to look it up because I really thought where the little town that they had, it was like the resort where the creepy pedo pastors people were. It was, I thought it was Banff. I remember we were pretty sure, but it wasn't. It wasn't at all. It was a little tiny place called the Bayshore Inn in Waterton, which I don't exactly know where this is, but I'll bet when Chris Dixon listens to this episode, he will be able to tell me where it is because he knows all those places. But the person who wrote the article said, thankfully, the hotel is still intact, despite the truly chaotic final moments of the episode. But it was a cute little lakeside inn that was it looked old. Like it looked like it was, built in the 60s, right? It's got that kind of
it really did look like a hunting lodge or a ski lodge.
Yeah, it did. And that's probably what it is. I didn't look to see how close it was to the Rockies, but it probably is if it had that kind of scenery around it, right? But Aaron said, I didn't see his SNL episode.
They have TikToks all over.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's one thing I haven't seen, guys, is a TikTok featuring Pedro Pascal. I haven't seen one, but I've seen 23 of them, every time I open my phone, it's like Maisie Poo has sent you another text message. Or
What was
that's
that
you.
I sent you the other day?
I don't
It was
know.
so funny.
I've got you muted on TikTok, so don't
You
worry
do
about
not.
it. Every time I turn in, it's the same goddamn TikToks, every one of them. You got Nicolas Cage with that dumbass look on his face, and then it cuts to Pedro Pascal with that, mongoloid look on his face. I don't even know what to call it. It's the funniest thing in the world. But I get 17. I think she's supposed to work, but
I don't have any money. My husband when another parcel arrives to the door.
All day and all night. And, oh yeah, Barrett sent me one or two as well. Yes, yeah, but they usually have to do with the mental state of the opposite sex.
But they're really. I don't know. I just think they're hilarious the way that they come up with the ideas and then it goes back and forth.
I'm glad you think they're funny.
Oh, they're hilarious, and they are. I gotta watch that movie.
Erin said she saw a meme that said, if your wife is watching The Last of Us and Mandalorian, she's Pedro's wife now. Yeah, of course. See, how about you and Erin send them to each other instead?
They are hilarious.
I'll be laying in bed, and all of a sudden I'll think she's asleep, and then I hear her just laugh her ass off, and I'm like, here it comes. Sure enough, TikTok notification.
See, when someone calls me an asshole, there's Nicolas Cage.
Oh, boy.
And he just sitting there
Erin
laughing.
said she'll share the one that she made. Oh yeah, I bust your balls, darling. I appreciate it.
Oh, I think they're hilarious.
It just kind of yeah. But we have to watch that movie actually.
Yeah, we do. I don't know if it'll happen this weekend.
No, we won't. Erin,
it is
Maisie Poo. M-A-I. Here, I'll put it. You know what?
Yeah, I think
probably.
It's Maisie. MAISIEPOO. Maisie Poo.
MAISIEPOO.
Yep.
All one word?
Yep.
There you go. All right. Did you change your profile picture?
Oh, it might be Maisie Poo 5.
Oh, okay.
There might be a 5 there.
There you go. We'll put it up here for you again, Erin. Maisie
it's a
5.
picture with a red hat.
Yeah. There you go. So now she can.
It might be 5. I don't know.
Now she can send you all kinds of TikToks. So
I will too. They're so funny.
You guys can commiserate together.
I love those ones. I think they're.
Yeah, it is. So Erin says
Prime, I think.
Yeah, she said she only knows that one scene. It's the incredible.
No, the unbearable weight of incredible talent.
That's it. Yeah, and it's
because it was supposed to be Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, it's loosely based on Nicolas Cage's life. It's like a hyper stylized version of Nicolas Cage. So it'll be. Yeah, I don't know. It's supposed to be great. It's supposed to be pretty funny. They said that not necessarily Nicolas Cage should win awards for it, but that it's one of his best films in a long time, and that's saying something considering some of the films he's made over the last few years. So
it's really good.
So said it sounds funny. It's really about Cage. Yeah. So basically it was.
Yeah, and I think Pedro plays some like crazy guy or something.
Yeah, I don't.
Or like a crazy obsessed fan. Is that what he's supposed to be?
Oh, maybe it is. Yeah, we haven't. We should. Wow. We're not going to watch any movies for the next 2 months, probably. Two months, but that's fine. Maybe I'll watch it while you're gone.
No, you won't.
That's what we do to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Back when it was the Negan cliffhanger episode, I was in Nova Scotia and I told her that if she watched it, I'd shoot her. And you ended up watching it and lying to me about it, remember? And you're like, I didn't watch it. And then I watched it. And you're like, I watched it. I had to tell you. So Erin said she tried to watch The Prospect on Hulu with Pedro, but it's been slow so far. Well, we'll have to. Yeah. Is that a TV show or is it a movie? Because I was on YouTube earlier today and there was this ad with Pedro that sounded like this incredible movie, and it turns out it's some stupid mobile game that he's getting paid to produce to promote. So I'm not sure. He's in everything, and he's going to be he's like the male version of Wednesday Addams right now. What's her name? Jenna Ortega or whatever. She's literally in everything. I heard the other day that she just signed on to do the latest. They're doing a Beetlejuice sequel.
Who's that? Jenna Ortega?
Jenna Ortega. I said she's like the female version of him right now in absolutely everything of Pedro Pascal.
Oh, he's not in everything.
Yes, he is. He's literally like he's made
in
more
this
than,
and he's in the Mandalorian.
Yeah, and movies, and I say he was just in a video.
The problem is though, he's already in these movies, and you just don't recognize.
Oh yeah, they all come at once, right?
Yeah.
Well, Mrs. Cook, what do you think?
Okay.
Do you have any? So what else have we? Just trying to think if did we watch? We didn't watch any movies last week at all, did we? I was just trying to think if there was.
I don't think so. I think we tried to watch a movie, but the internet wasn't working.
Yeah, what was this one? It was the one we wanted. Yeah, with
we were
Nicolas
trying to watch
Cage,
that one and it didn't work. No.
Oh, did we mention? I think we probably did last week that we watched Knock at the Cabin.
Knock at the Cabin. Yes.
Yeah, I loved it. You thought it was just so.
It was okay.
Yeah, it's
like it. Well, and I said right from the beginning, it was well acted.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It was,
I liked the
story. It was
story
really well
too,
acted, but it was well acted. No, and the story was okay, but it was predictable.
Maybe,
but,
I don't know. I liked it. I may do a review on it down the road because it was a lot of fun. It was something totally different. Is Aaron sending you messages while we're sitting here?
No.
Oh, okay. I was like, oh boy, now I'm in trouble. I got 2 women ganging up on me. So
no, we mentioned about going to the theater when we were up in the city, but you wanted to see that cocaine bear, and I said
yes,
no. I kiboshed that pretty quick.
I couldn't believe you wouldn't go see a movie about a bear that eats cocaine and then kills people.
And actually, Mackenzie had mentioned that Scream came out.
Yes, yeah, and Scream's got a pretty decent Rotten Tomato score.
Well, it's rated R.
Yeah,
we established that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, but it's like 70. They got it like a 75 or something again. So,
well, I think him and Gracie were going to go see it tomorrow night, but the way the weather's going, I don't think that's going to pan out for them.
You can see on the cameras we're getting quite a bit of snow tonight. We're not supposed to get more than 3 centimeters, which is just over an inch, and I'm thinking we've got half that already.
Yeah,
so.
And I had to cancel the dog's grooming appointment.
I know. Yeah.
Maybe I'll try to trim them myself.
Oh boy! Well, I would probably stay away from the old fashions if you're going to do that.
No, like maybe I'll use your little clipper just on Pepper's.
Yeah, you could do that. No, it would be good. Yeah, or I could help you with it too when I get home. So
I don't know. Maybe I'll
hold you down or hold them down and do it. So
yeah, like you held Dottie down earlier.
Oh yeah, so we had to take Dottie to the vet today because I think she just has a cold, but
respiratory and upper respiratory.
She's such a stupid old lady, that thing. Every time she tried to breathe, she'd go, and she could barely breathe. So we took her to the vet.
They wanted to test her for a UTI, and Tim got to be the bad guy, and they used the ultrasound and the needle through the belly to get her bladder. And
now she hates me.
I don't think she's ever going to trust him again.
I always get to be the bad guy with her. So
yeah, and he's spent the last 2 months gaining her trust, and
but she came right over to me and let me hold her, and she's a real sweetheart.
But she'll never.
No, she hates.
You won't be able to touch her for weeks.
No, that's true.
She'll blame you for it.
Here, I'll show you guys. Since there's a few people still on here, I upgraded my. Here we go, right there. My cordless microphone game. This is the Rode Wireless Go 2. Let's see. This one here's the receiver. I'm going to do a review on it down the road. This one is the actual microphone. You can clip it on here. It's got a magnet with it now, so I can wear it like this. This has got onboard recording. It'll record 40 some hours, and it is crystal clear. Should be probably for the price I spent on it, but
I don't want to know.
No, it was what it was, but
I just get these random. Oh, I ordered this on Amazon. I never know what they are.
Well, when they're expensive, I'm like, hey, honey, do you mind if I order this? So we got Know Your Joe this evening. Good evening. How are you? And so we went to the city for the weekend or for 2 days. And
2 days, yeah.
I had that Joe says nice mic setup. I'm going to I'll do a full on. There it is right there. A full-on review on these. These are small. I know I got big, beefy sausage mitts, but you look at how small that is. They fit really well and crystal clear sound. But it was time. I ended up ordering these to replace my old mic because it was falling apart. And then I finally broke my tripod. I've had that tripod for 3 years. I spent like $9 or $11 on it, and it lasted. I had to fix it 3 times, but it finally gave up the ghost. So, had enough?
I've had enough.
Are you feeling it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I don't think Miss Cook's never drank bourbon before, and she just polished off 3/4 of an old fashioned. So,
well, I won't need any melatonin tonight.
No, you'll be good tonight. But yeah, we had a good time. Went to the bar at the hotel. Mm-hmm. It was actually really
Tell
nice.
him how much you spent on that old fashioned. He comes up and he's like, "Oh, it was really cool. They smoked it." And it was so cool, hon. They smoked it.
It was awesome.
And I'm like, oh, that's nice.
Oh yeah.
And I said to him, I said, oh yeah. And he goes, yeah, but it was $46
before tip. He's asking, Joe, are you asking who the beautiful lady is next to me? Because that's my wife, Mrs. Cook, Mrs. Toolman, if that's what you're asking. He said who the guest is. But yeah, so $46 for a fucking drink was the most I've ever spent in my life.
But
go ahead.
But he made sure that he told me about 3 times that they smoked it.
Yes, so. It was really cool. So I ended up ordering a smoker on Amazon. This little thing that allows you to put smoke into your drink.
But he made it sound like it was to justify the $46 for her.
We had fun. We had a great time.
No, it was fun.
Yeah, where did we go? Where did we go to eat? Swiss Chalet for lunch.
Yeah, we just ended up getting skip the dishes. We went back to
the I got chicken strips or something, and we had a good time. Oh, I went and had what was that chicken? It was Texas chicken while you were at the hospital. Church's chicken. Yeah. So if anybody's had Church's before, I went and got some, and it was really good. Like really good. So I kind of ruined my supper. I ate too much, but yeah, we had fun for a couple of days. Yeah, it was good. We got away. We needed it for.
Yeah, I needed a break.
You were gonna fucking kill somebody.
Well, that program plan was doing me.
I know, baby. It's all right, but it was It'll be nice when we can go down to Tennessee for a little while and enjoy ourselves.
Just a little in the program plan for our daycare. Every 2 years we have to resubmit a program plan, which is based off our handbook, and it consists of 36 questions, and the questions have to be taken from your handbook and put in, and then you submit it, and then they retaliate with more, and you have to correct all the corrections. And for the past 2 weeks, she has been sending it back, and I had to correct like 21 questions. And I was like, and there's only so much detail you can do before you're just like, okay, I don't even know what else this lady needs. And then I got the corrections today. I only had to do 2. And then I handed it in and I got the approval. So it's been 3 weeks. And it's
a government make work project is what it is.
It has been frying my brain. There's not much more I can really do for it. And I'm just like, okay, well, and
the countdown is on because let's see, what's tomorrow, Saturday. So 8 days from today, you're heading to Calgary with 6 of the 6 other ladies in our family.
Yes.
And you're going to leave on a jet plane and you are heading to England and France. And you're going to be gone 16 days, right? 14 there. And it was, I'm going to miss you. I will. But
it's going to be so much fun. I got air tags today to put on everybody's luggage or purses. And then we're going to Calgary. It's a Dreamliner flight. And we're flying into Heathrow. And we're staying one night. And then Amy and I had this brilliant idea that we were going to take the train from London to France. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, I don't know what possessed me. It's just kind of like, you know what, Amy? Let's rent a car. So,
and when you say us, you really mean you, because you'll be doing the driving.
But I can't do it without her because she's my navigator.
Right.
So, and I figured, you know what, if I can drive and she can navigate me through LA.
Oh yeah,
we can definitely.
You guys will do fine.
Although then you remember that it's on the other side of the vehicle and you're driving on the other side of the road. So we're driving from London to France, and then we're staying in France for 3 days, and then we're driving back to London.
And you guys are going to do some sort of, what is it, mud something?
It's called mudlarking.
And what do you do?
It's when we get back to England. It's when the tide goes out on the Thames River, and tour guide takes you down there, and you mudlark for 2 hours, which means that you hunt. You basically hunt along the rocks, and you find antiques.
Do you get to keep them?
I don't know.
I bet you don't. It's friggin' England.
I know. Well, actually, I think if anything's over a certain age, I think you're liable to. You have to give it to the museum.
Fair enough.
Which is fair because as much as I'd like to keep it, I
know
it's history and everybody deserves to be able to see it.
And you guys are going in the catacombs?
We are going in the catacombs. Yep. We're going to try to do Vimy Ridge
and that big metal thing in Paris. What's that thing?
The Eiffel Tower and the Arc de Triomphe. Yep. And then we are going to do Tower of London, Windsor Castle, Westminster, St. George's Chapel.
So I gotta say, I'm pretty proud of you. But when we first started dating, first got married, I said, I know we don't have any money. We're broke as a joke, but I promise you, someday I will get you to an Aerosmith concert and I will get you to England. And you're going to England, and you went last September to an Aerosmith concert in Las Vegas. So it's great to have goals, isn't it?
It is. Well, and I'm a big history person. I've always been, even now, I don't even read them, but I still buy books on Henry VIII because I'm a big history person. And of course I have to see Henry VIII. I believe he's at Westminster.
Okay.
Along with Jane Seymour, and then we're going to St. George's so we can see Elizabeth I and Catherine of Aragon.
We'll have to bring you back on, and you can talk all about your trip when you come.
Oh
back.
yeah, and I'll photo dump every night too. If anybody's on Facebook with me, I'll photo dump every night.
That'll be good, baby. Yeah. And Joe says, "Wait up, hold your promises." Yeah, we did what we could. We built our businesses and made our money, and it's going well. Would I love to go with you? Yeah, but I'm cool with it. I'm excited.
Well, there's
for
7 women going. Yeah. I don't think you'd really enjoy it.
You know what that reminds me of? When I was in college,
yeah,
I needed to get a ride from New Brunswick to Halifax. So it was about a 4-hour drive at the time. And my college professor was like, "Oh, well, my wife's going. She'll give you a ride." And so I was in a van. You guys know what Pampered Chef is? I don't know if you do, but it's like what, Mary Kay or Tupperware or whatever, right? Yeah. So what he didn't tell me was that his wife was going to a Pampered Chef conference in Halifax with 5 other women. So I got to drive for 4 hours in a minivan listening to 6 women chat about the beauties. What I did learn was that a bamboo, what do you call it? A wooden spoon, when set over top of pot, will keep.
And were they pastor wives?
Oh yeah, they were.
Pastor's wives.
It was it was. Yeah.
And so you imagine with that conversation. So it wasn't even an enjoyable conversation then.
So it was bad enough that I decided to take the fucking bus back, and the bus was horrible. Yeah. The bus took like 9 hours. She stopped in every podunk town, and the bathroom didn't work. So go figure, right? So yeah, Pampered Chef expensive.
Yeah, there's 7 of us going. So
yeah, I'm not going to miss that.
Yeah, so we're taking 2 vehicles down, and we've got 2 hotel rooms. We're splitting up between the 2 rooms, and
that'll be good. I can't wait.
It'll be fun.
Yeah, you guys will have a blast.
Oh yeah, it'll be so much fun.
And so I can't wait to hear about it. Well, I hear about it every night.
Yeah, but I got a lot to get ready because unfortunately, even going there, I'm still doing schoolwork. So.
Byron says he would have jumped out while they were driving.
I probably would have too.
I thought about
wives, I love them, but they're dull.
Oh, it was awful. Just that. I had to listen.
They're wonderful people, but yeah, and they were probably like what, 40s, 50s.
Yeah, they were probably early 40s at that time, which would have been 20 years older than me at the time. So pretty miserable. It was,
Well, you could have got some good recipes. Maybe.
Yeah, I might have. I don't know. I was too
canning recipes.
I just sat back and just tried not to pay attention.
See, that's when you wish they would have had AirPods back then.
So
just put them in your ears.
You know what I had? I had a mini disc player.
Yeah, you did.
Anybody else remember mini disc players? Because that's what I had when I was in college. Those
that was
awesome.
Like that little silver thing.
Yeah,
right?
they were about like spinner. That, and it had a little, looked like a floppy disk, but it held a full 80 minutes of audio, just like a CD, right?
Just 80 minutes, though.
At first, yeah, and then they figured out a way to put MP3s on them, and I missed that. I broke it, and I know, hard to believe I broke something, but I paid for it with my fucking college student loan. So then I broke it.
Speaking of breaking it, was funny. We were sitting in the office at the daycare this morning, or this afternoon, and we heard this big, the alarm go off saying the front door's open. Then we hear this big bang, and then a drop, and Taylor looks at me and she goes, "That's got to be your husband." And then she looks up the stairs and she's like, "Yep, it's him." Can hear him coming through the damn
I put
door.
Your stuff together. I got your IKEA stuff
but
done.
As soon as we hear the door open, if it's always followed by a bang, we know it's you.
Well, it was a big, heavy item that I had to carry.
No, it doesn't matter what it is. Every time it's a bang, she's like, "I guarantee that's Tim."
It was me.
Yep, every time.
No, your Joe remembers 8 tracks.
Oh, geez.
Did you ever have 8 tracks?
I think my grandma did.
So my dad had a floor model stereo in the living room. And when I was a kid, it had a record player, which he didn't use, and it had an 8-track player. But at the point that, I guess it would have been mid-'80s, we went to Radio Shack and we bought, actually I have one here that I found at a junk store. It was an 8-track adapter. You slid down into an 8-track player, and it had a little bar on it that would allow you to put cassette tapes into the 8-track player. Miserable. Yeah, I'm sure the sound quality was horrible.
I'm pretty sure my grandmother had one. I don't think my mom and dad ever did.
I don't think I've ever listened to an 8-track, or very, very rarely. I
remember my mom and dad had a Beta.
Oh, Beta. Man, yeah. I never had a Beta. I never saw a Beta in rental stores, but I remember the local Shoppers Drug Mart had some blank beta cassettes when I was a kid.
Yeah.
It's the only thing, because it never came to my little town, right?
Yeah, my grandmother had a big beta machine.
And apparently they were a better quality video than VHS.
They were supposed to be the big thing, and then the VHS came out, and that kind of took it over.
Because anytime Sony holds on to something, that's what beta was. Sony's like, well, guess what? It's ours. Nobody can do it. So, and they rarely ever, Barrett says his dad has lots of 8-tracks and betas. Oh my God.
He probably still has them too, right?
Oops, whoops. Yeah, he probably does. Yeah, no doubt. That's crazy. I haven't, man. Yeah, I'd love to get my hand on an old beta player sometime just to play with it. You know?
I think I still have some beta tapes because my grandmother, I think it's in my keepsake box because I did that dancing with Big Top Talent and my grandmother recorded it on a beta tape.
Right.
And I'm about 95% sure I still have that beta tape.
Byron says his second car had an 8-track player. And Know Your Joe said my dad had an 8-track player attached to his stereo. But yeah, it would be, I don't know. I love the old retro tech. It's kind of fun to play with. I'd love to get a hold of an old Laserdisc player sometime. Do you remember those?
No, I remember the name of them, but not ever.
They were the size of a record, but they were a double-sided CD. And they were a digital video disc from the 80s and 90s. They come out way before DVDs. Yeah. They were Japanese, and only rich people had them when I was a kid. But I did see them around. They were, if you were into home theater, they were the thing to have.
Oh yeah, no, I don't remember anybody I know having one of them.
But they're not going to last because they suffer from what they call disc rot, and just from sitting around, the discs start to rot eventually, and they get like pixelization in it. Aaron says my dad always had 8-tracks and records. I have all the records now.
Yeah, he's got records.
You'll have to do a video sometime, Aaron, of all your records. I'd love to see them because I got a whole crate full over there. Yeah, and I'll do a video some night. Maybe I'll do a bourbon and a record video or something that has nothing to do with any of my regular content. But yeah. Aaron says she remembers school having a laser player. No, I can see that. Yeah.
Maybe they were big. Were they bigger in the States than they were up here? Maybe
they might have been.
I don't remember anybody I knew had one of them.
I can tell you what I remember at school. I remember it was going to be a good day when the teacher wheeled out the old reel-to-reel video projector, and they turned
the TV on the cart.
Oh no, we didn't have a TV until high school. Ours was the they pull down the white screen, and it would be some stupid video from 1972 put out by the Canadian Film Board.
The Constitution one or whatever.
Oh, they were all so bad, but they were all made by the CFB, the Canadian Film Board, which is basically like, I think it was like an extension of the CBC.
And they were cartoon, right?
No, most of them weren't, but there were cartoon ones too.
And the cartoon ones where all the characters had like bell bottoms.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. And Joe says VHS won out on price because no one at the time really understood what it was and what they could do. VHS was much cheaper, so it essentially won out. Yes, and VHS, I can't remember the company that spearheaded VHS, but they allowed it to be easily licensed across all platforms. Therefore, every manufacturer was able to use VHS, whereas Sony, if you wanted to use beta, you had to spend a ton of money to license the beta. So again,
and the beta machines were a lot more too, weren't they?
They were, yes. It was, VHS was much cheaper. And man, I miss VCRs in some ways.
I do, yeah. Well, actually, we just gave away all our DVDs. We don't even have a DVD player anymore. I think Amy said she still has a DVD player. But no, we don't even have one anymore because we still have DVDs in the fireplace, but we don't.
No, they went, or they did. Yeah. Most of them went with Mackie.
No, but they're in the fireplace.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've been toying with this idea. So I did a poll the other day, and I'll tease you guys a little bit about it. But I asked everybody in the Telegram group if they had a tape player or a record player, and I think out of 17, I think almost everybody had a tape player. So I have this crazy idea that I might do an offline podcast or something. I don't know what it'll be, but it's going to be like, if you guys follow Amy Dingman, she has her old school paper newsletter, the Farmers Papers. Well, this will be like a separate episode of the Workshop podcast that'll only be analog. So the only way to listen to it will be the cassette tape or something that you get in the mail. I love the fucking idea. So, and I'm sure other people would too.
That's limit your audience.
Oh yeah, on purpose. Sure it will. But it's just like records, right? So we'll see if there's enough interest. Maybe I'll send them out on USB or SD, but I don't want to. It's going to be one of those things that I'm not going to put on the internet on purpose. It'll be only, yeah, there. Well, that's actually, Aaron, you laugh about that, but that's exactly what I was thinking about calling it, or the workshop mixtape. So, and I could put audio on there. I could pick some songs. It could be something you guys could play when you're, I don't know. Anyway, but cassette tapes are coming back again, right? So, I was at Chapters the other day, a big bookstore, and there was friggin' Walkmans for sale. So
yeah, but you said they weren't made out of much.
Oh no, they're made out of shit. They're absolute garbage. I went to open it up, and the cover was broken on it.
Because you know what they're doing is that they're preying on the millennials who think that
I actually think it's Gen Z.
Well, no, but it's all the younger kids that are bringing back the 80s and the 90s clothing.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Right? And they all want to dress like, because of Stranger Things.
Mm-hmm.
They're all wearing the Converse shoes and the acid
they're all
wash
dressed
jeans
up as grunge too, right?
And the neon t-shirts, and Lululemon has fanny packs.
I know.
Like
Aaron says, with one side you can record on it and then they can send it back. That would be cool too. I'd love that. I thought about maybe like, I don't know, sending it through the mail like an old chain letter where each person records something on it for 10 or 15 minutes. I don't know. It'd be fun. We'll see. Who knows? But it'll be one of those offline analog type things that are just fun to do. Maybe, I don't know. It's one of those things that maybe we could figure out for a just in case kind of thing, right? So Know Your Record says vinyl records are now being sold at Guitar Center. Lots of old school grade albums. Yeah, we've got them at the bookstores up here. Some of the drugstores carry them. They're everywhere. Like that. Yeah. I mean, we had but HMV.
It's current artists.
Oh yeah. I bought Post Malone not too long ago on vinyl
and
as well.
He sounds good on vinyl.
Oh, so good. Yeah. And I was at the big bookstore the other day and they had Taylor Swift's new album in like 7 different album covers. So gotta collect them all, right?
And there was somebody else that you bought that was newer too.
Yeah, I've bought a lot of live albums from the 90s. Well, I bought AC/DC's brand new album that just came out last year. That was one. I bought Gord Downie, the lead singer of the Tragically Hip, his album that came out like 3 years ago, just after he passed away. So there's been a lot of cool new releases. I'm actually waiting on 5 Times August. That may be the one you were thinking of.
Oh, maybe.
You guys heard me interview him at Prepper Camp. His album, I backed his Kickstarter. It's been printed, so it could be a little while yet, but I can't wait to get it. It's a special limited edition white vinyl, so it'll be good. I'm looking forward to it. Well, Mrs. Cook, what do you think? We've been an hour and a half, and the snow's falling, and my old ass has got to get to bed, right? Because yeah it is. Erin says she's got to get the record player down now. Yeah, I'll show you my record player sometime too. It was one we got on Facebook Marketplace ages ago. Remember?
Yeah, because you got rid of that big one.
Yeah, I did. This is a good one. But so we'll be back one more Friday, and then you're gone for a bit, flying on a jet plane. So it's always fun, baby. I love having you on here.
Yeah,
we have a blast on Friday night. So, Joe wants to know what software you're using. I use StreamYard. It's awesome. You can. So we're just on 2 different cameras here. So there I am. We're just side by side, but we do it this way because we get a better picture than if we have two if we have 2 different videos. Or if we're both in the same video, it kind of distorts the picture. So we figured out that if we do this, and then I have to reverse the video, because if not, and I look at you, now we're backwards. So we have to do that. Yeah. But StreamYard's great. There's a free version that allows you to stream to one location.
Yeah, now you're throwing up into my camera.
Yeah. And then, but mine, I pay for I think it's the pro version. We can stream to 8 different locations, which I think we're streaming to 7 right now. So it's a great software. It rarely ever acts up. Plus, it keeps an audio and video online and offline copies for you. So, yeah, it's great. It's worth every penny that I pay for it, because, I mean, I stream 4 or 5 times a week, and it definitely is worth the money. So, and cameras. So I just, let's see if we can show you here. You're going to see a mess probably. This is my camera right there. That's the latest one. I'll give you a listing on it. I just bought it recently to upgrade. And then the other one is just one I bought at my local tech shop.
No, you showed this one. You got to show that one.
Oh, I didn't show that one?
No, you used that one.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. There we are. Let's see. There. That's the nice one here. I'm going to show you guys. Watch your eyes a little bit. But it has a light ring built into it. And I really like it. It gives me a really good picture. So there you go, darling. And
then he's got this fancy.
Oh, yeah. Here's the Blue Yeti
Blue Yeti microphone.
Yep, that was a big upgrade for me. I'll do.
I think you swiped that one from Mac.
I did. He didn't want it anymore,
No.
So he's like, "Dad, I can't make it work." I'm like, "Well, I'll make it work.
It's
I
mine
bought
now.
it for you at Christmas, so there you go, sucker." No,
Yeah.
but I'll do another video on all my gear here now that I've just upgraded, because it wasn't that long ago I did one, but I've changed my cameras, my portable microphones, and now my tripod. So I'm due to do another video.
And I think you got a curved monitor, didn't you?
Oh yeah, these are, and I put 2. So I've got 3 monitors. You can't see here, but my battle stations, whatever. There's 2 big curved ones and then a smaller one here, because I need another video card in order to put another big monitor on. So it's a pretty good little thing. But yeah, I'll help you in any way, Joe. I said he's attempting to set up a YouTube studio. Start small. Everything I started with was hand-me-downs, freebies, the cheapest thing I could buy, and then I upgraded one at a time.
I think
right?
this one camera was only like $20 on Amazon.
Yeah. And in some ways, I like the picture of the cheaper camera better. I like this one with the little light built into it. But yeah, I will. I'll do a video. I'll show you everything that I'm using, and we'll go from there. All right. Call her quits.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. I appreciate you. I love these Friday night episodes. I know they're good and intimate. We have a lot of fun, and I got Mrs. Cook half drunk, so that's a bonus.
Yeah,
so
I feel
I know you're fine. Yeah. But anyway, guys, as always, stay happy, stay healthy, and have a great week.